Good day and welcome to Common Sense with Tom Schmitz. On today's show, my guest is April Savarese. She's the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County, a place that's very near and dear to my heart. We'll get into why I have such passion for the Boys and Girls Club later in the show. She's here in her first visit to the show. We'll get an update on the gym floor replacement at the Boys and Girls Club, plus a chat about the state of the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County, which encompasses Ocala, Bellevue, and Dunellen. But first, in case you missed it, it's brought to you by the Riley Arts Center of Ocala, the premier performing arts center in our area with concert events, dance events, and comedy events. The Riley has something for everyone. Don't miss Disney's Frozen Sing-Along, June 22nd. Cool offs for the summer by reliving the magic of Disney's animated hit Frozen in a sing-along event the whole family can enjoy. Watch the beloved movie play out on the large screen and sing along to all of the movie's most popular songs, including Yes, Let It Go will be sung loud and proud, I'm sure. On-screen lyrics make it easy for everyone in the family to join in the fun. For more information on this show or any upcoming event at the Riley Arts Center, go to RileyArtsCenter.com for an up-to-the-moment calendar of events. Imagine this, you're driving down I-75 in between Gainesville and Ocala, and a Cessna airplane on a training flight that took off from Ormond Beach to Gainesville and Williston makes an emergency landing right in front of you on the interstate. Well, that happened about noon Thursday, with the pilot managing to get the craft down without damage to it or to the vehicles on the ground. The landing tied up northbound traffic for hours before the scene. A tow truck began moving the plane to the rest area about 2:10 p.m. A student and a flight instructor from Sunrise Aviation of Ormond Beach were in the Cessna 152. The instructor, Michael Moore of Volusia County, took control when the engine trouble first occurred, said Sunrise Aviation General Manager Patrick Murphy. They were on their way back to Ormond Beach when they experienced engine trouble. At the first sign, they started to divert back to Gainesville. The engine roughness proceeded to be engine failure. They had already began picking out spots if they couldn't make it to Gainesville, and the interstate highway is one of the better spots to land. The pilot did an excellent job putting it down there. There was no damage to the airplane or passengers. Everybody did a great job, this Murphy said. The plane landed on a northbound outside lane just south of the rest area between Gainesville and Ocala. Two northbound lanes were blocked for several hours. Southbound traffic was initially slowed because of emergency vehicles arriving. That was In Case You Missed It, brought to you by the Riley Arts Center. Find them on the web at RileyArtsCenter.com. And I'd like to welcome to the show the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County, April Savarese. April, good afternoon.
Hey, Tom.
Truth be told, April and I have known each other for a while because April used to, in a capacity, be a bank manager for Gateway Bank, which then morphed into Center State Bank.
That is correct.
But you have since moved on to other endeavors. So that lends the question, why the Boys and Girls Club?
That's a great question, because if I had looked ahead in my crystal ball a few years ago, I never would have guessed that I would be working for the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County. I have always been involved in the community. I have lived in this community for 20 years, raised a son in this community, and I love Ocala. I love Marion County. I love it here. And in my professional life and in my personal life, in other organizations, we're always trying to see, what we can do to give back. And of all the organizations that I've been involved with, I've never spent any time at the Boys and Girls Club.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So now you're at the Boys and Girls Club. You've been there for a little over 2 months?
Not even.
Not quite 2 months
yet? We're at about the 6-week mark now.
I knew it was getting right around 2 months.
Yeah, but who's counting?
I'll tell you something about the Boys and Girls Club that I'd said when we'd had people on earlier from the Boys and Girls Club. It's a place very near and dear to my heart because while I was not always an angel and I have some checkers in my past, there was some skeletons in my closet that I threw out and said, here you go, everybody, look at them. So they're not in my closet anymore. Everybody knows about my shortcomings in life, but I would have really been probably a bad seed and a terrible person because I was a teenager who didn't have parental support. My mom, God rest her, at times thought I was too much to handle. She may have been right. Yeah. And so I was left to my own accord quite a few times. And Robert Haygood, who was running the Boys and Girls Club in Brookhaven, Georgia, in Atlanta, right next to Chamblee. He had played quarterback at the University of Pittsburgh, and he was from the Atlanta area. I walked into the Boys and Girls Club at 16 years old. And he goes, "Are you a hoodlum? Or are you somebody that wants to make something about yourself in life?" And I go, "Why would you ask me that question?" He said, "There's only two types of people walk in here. Hoodlums looking for a handout or somebody want to make something of their life." And at that Boys and Girls Club, that was really what walked into that, because it was in a less than desirable neighborhood. And he kept me on the straight and narrow, made sure that when times got tough, that he kept me on the guise of, if times get tough, education. Don't worry about if times get tough. Make sure you get your book learning, make sure you get your education, and times will get tough, but they'll get better because you're intelligent and you went through the proper channels of your education. He always preached that. And so I owe a lot of gratitude to Robert Haygood and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in Brookhaven, Georgia, for the lessons he taught me. And that's what you and your staff are trying to do at the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County. Do you have I bet you got a lot of alumni stories like that right here in Marion County.
We do, actually. We have just recently put together an alumni association, and we've got some kids, if you will, that are just really excited about giving back to the club because it meant so much to them. Professionals that are, working and raising their own kids now, that will give the same type of testimony that if it wasn't for the club, not sure where they'd be.
When you talk about the Boys and Girls Club, a lot of people say, "Yeah, but it's for the not too well-off kids. It's for the inner city kids and everything." Mm-hmm. Is it really an inner city or a destitute type club?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, the curriculum and the core areas that we're putting out there. I mean, we have a very structured day, whether it's after school or through summer camp, and we're focusing on character and leadership, academic success, and health and wellness. Those are really the three key categories that we base all of our programs around, and it's very structured. And you're going and, maybe you don't realize it because you're having fun while you're doing it, but you're learning about how to give back to your community. You're being tutored. You're learning math and working on reading and writing and understanding healthy eating and exercise. And if you're not on board with that curriculum, then the Boys and Girls Club's not a great the place for you to be. And I think the reason that it's sometimes misinterpreted that it is for a particular group is because we don't turn anyone away based on their ability to pay. So if you can't afford the membership, we're going to get a scholarship for you. I will tell you that the majority of the members that we serve are from low to moderate income families. But in Marion County, I heard a statistic this morning, 40% of Marion County is low to moderate income. So
that's still a large chunk of the community.
Yeah.
And when you say dues, mm-hmm. I was amazed because I thought that dues would have jumped exponentially since I was part of the Boys and Girls mm-hmm. Club. When I was part of the Boys and Girls Club, it's $10 a year.
Yeah.
So it costs to be a member, $10 a year. Mm-hmm. It's not much more than that now.
$15 a year to be a member of the Boys and Girls Club of America. And we've got some summer camp. The cost of summer camp is $30 for a week, ages 6 to 12. Ages 13 to 18 to be part of our teen club, it's $50 for the entire summer.
Right, not for a week. $50 for the entire summer.
The entire summer, and that includes breakfast, a healthy lunch, a healthy snack, activities, of course, academic enrichment. We don't do as much of that during the summer, but we're exposing them to things that they may not get through video games and watching TV at home.
There's a computer lab there.
There is.
Mm-hmm. When I did a tour of it about a year ago, I was amazed. There's a computer lab there. Mm-hmm. There is an industrial kitchen to teach children,
yes.
teach people how to take care of themselves, prepare healthy food mm-hmm. for themselves and everything. Mm-hmm. There's a fledgling gym. It's in terrible shape. The floor's all warped and everything. Can you give me an update on that? Is that still the way the gym is?
No, the gym is beautiful. They did a renovation, And that was actually completed before I came on board, $150,000 renovation of that gym. And while I'm not a basketball player, I've been told it's the best basketball court to play on in Marion County. So
well, it had to be better than what was there. Because what was there looked like
I've seen the picture.
if you can imagine a lake with a light chop, that's what the basketball floor looked like. But the kids still used it.
Yes, yeah, they did. And the gym is one of the most popular places for the kids to go now.
Now we're talking about the main campus, which is here in Ocala.
That's correct, yeah.
But you also have campuses in Bellevue and Denellen. Talk to us about the campuses that aren't just here in Ocala.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we've got a campus in Denellen, which is a fairly new facility. It's beautiful. And we also have a campus in Silver Spring Shores, which can service the Bellevue and East Ocala area. We are at capacity right now. We're full in Ocala for summer camp. We're seeing about 180 kids a day so far this week. Denellen has some openings, and they have about 62 registered, and Silver Spring Shores has a little over 80 registered for the summer. So
you got, right now, if I'm doing my math, you got 60, 180, that's 240, and 80. That's 320 Marion County kids that are registered for your summer programs right now.
That's correct. Yep, that is correct. And we're...
You're making food, you're making breakfast and lunch and a snack for those 320 kids.
Yeah, that's
some of who might not get a breakfast or a lunch if it wasn't for this.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because we do partner with the Marion County School Board to make sure that we're offering a well-balanced and healthy breakfast and lunch. Through our partnership with the hospital grant, Marion County Hospital District, they've given us a grant. And through that partnership, we've committed to the healthy snacks. But we've also added raised garden beds at both our Ocala and our Denellen clubs, and we'll be adding them in Silver Spring Shores, where we're growing fresh vegetables, preparing those, sending food home with the kids. So as you said, over the weekend, they've got some healthy choices to choose from, and they're learning about these things that maybe they're not normally in their menu at home.
Now, a lot of people that are my age remember the Boys and Girls Clubs was an athletic place. It was, you went there and you played baseball and you played basketball, and you know, it was just where you went. It was the athletics place. It's so much more now. And the switch to academics, to me, has been the best, because no matter how good you are, and I played college sports, I know a lot of people that played college sports, but 1 out of every 200 people that play college sports go past college sports. So if you don't have a good education, it's hard these days. And the Boys and Girls Clubs really emphasize that education.
Absolutely. And we hopefully will go to a more efficient tracking system going forward, but we have collected report cards from the kids in the past to be able to track and see how our kids are doing in comparison to maybe the mainstream. And it shows, at least here in Marion County, that our kids, our club kids, are actually progressing at a better rate than some of the other kids who are not involved in the Boys and Girls Club. And you know, we've recently created a book club, you know, for those kids that want to. All of our clubs are based on a, hey, I want to be a part of that club. So, but we have a book club, we've got a kitchen club, we've got a garden club, looking for folks that have other talents to help, you know, we've got some people that are going to be working on putting a fitness club together. But, you know,
I ought to come to a trivia club.
Yeah, trivia club, yeah, right. But, you know, these are ways that they can learn while they're having fun, and it's not about saying, okay, you 20 kids are going to sit here and you're going to work on homework for the next hour. You know, it's about really putting a lot of thought in the programming and how are we going to execute and get these deliverables, you know, for the kids.
Now you have a staff.
We do.
But do you also use volunteers?
Oh, yes, we do. Just like any other not-for-profit, you know, we're always watching and restricting spending. Salary is one of our bigger expenses, and we utilize volunteers in the past for helping with the programming, data entry, anything like that. I'm reaching out for volunteers who also want to be a part of our mentoring program that we're going to be putting in place, helping, with snack time and these, we'd love to get someone to do like a photography club or a dance club. You don't want to see me teaching dance. It'll be Elaine from Seinfeld. But, these things that the kids really have an interest in. And I always think about people that I've spoken to or I've seen on TV in interviews that said, I went and saw this, and from that moment on, I knew I wanted to be this, whether it was dance or acting or comedy or cooking or whatever it is. And let's give these kids a chance to experience that and know that that's an option, that's an opportunity.
We all have those moments in life. Mine, I was 10 years old. Went with my mother. She was trying to get her high school diploma. And back then, in the early 70s, you didn't go take the GED. You actually went back to a community college, and they offered high school courses. And I went into her high school history class. It was taught by a Vietnam veteran that had both his legs amputated when he come back from Vietnam. But he was so passionate about history that when I left that class at 10 years old, I looked up at my mom and I said, I'm going to one day have a degree in history just like that guy. I have 2 worthless pieces of paper in history right now. but I knew that at that moment that I had met someone, and that man, Mr. Fleming, I knew Mr. Fleming till he passed away, but that man had such a pronounced effect on my life that I knew I wanted to pursue history from that moment on. And a lot of kids know when they walk in and they see a cooking class, your son, who is a culinary genius. We're financially obligated to say that about April's son. He's going to say, Mom, did you put him up to that? But your son, who is a passionate chef in the making. Graduated high school from MTI in the culinary school. There was that moment sometime in his life where he said, that's what I want to do. And that's what you're hoping to create at the Boys and Girls Club.
And so when we talk about volunteers and staff, we're very thoughtful about who we're putting in that club with those kids. And we're very thoughtful about the experiences that we want to expose them to. And we're very thoughtful about the guest speakers that we're having come in, because we want to give every young person that comes through our doors an opportunity, or at least the understanding that those opportunities are out there. Going back to the beginning when you said, why the Boys and Girls Club? And when I thought about the Boys and Girls Club and thought of all the organizations, I don't know anything about them. I thought, well, that's why I need to go to work here, because I need every person in Marion County to know what the Boys and Girls Club is doing and how they can help.
So let's talk about where the Boys and Girls Club are right now. We know you got 3 three campuses, one in the Silver Spring Shores, Bellevue area, one in the Denellen area, the main campus here. You have paid staff, you have volunteer staff. Right now you got over 340 kids in the summer program. Where are you getting all the money from, April?
I'm so glad you asked, because I'm going to be expecting a check now. Well, and that's, that really is the biggest challenge, is because when those kids come running through that front door, they don't care who's paying for the light bill. They don't care who's bringing the snack to the table. They just want to know, is the pool cue there, and am I going to be able to do what I want to do and have fun and play basketball? So, we look to fundraising, we look to grants, and we look to our community to help support us financially. We are going to be having an annual campaign in the next couple of months. We accept sponsorships for scholarships. When we don't turn anyone away, we've still got to pay, for that child to be there. Private donations, corporate donations, sponsorships, you name it. So we're going to be a little bit more active in the upcoming year and the end of this year in, having some events. And
I know that Brady Ackerman used to used to host a golf tournament that benefited the Boys and Girls Clubs of Marion County. And I know that golf tournament went away. Mm-hmm. But are you looking into things like that to bring those kind of things back?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we have...
I know a local person that could put their name on that or something.
Yeah, well,
loves golf.
We have a partnership with Co-Advantage, which was formerly known as PEMCO.
Right.
And they're putting a golf tournament on in October, and we're going to be the beneficiary of that, which is fantastic. We have our annual gala, which we just had, which helps, but we of course need more. And we're looking to build those partnerships with either those individuals or those churches or those corporations where, they're doing these events, or they can help put these events on to benefit the Boys and Girls Club. The Alumni Association, which I said is newly formed, they're looking at bringing back the annual fish fry. I wasn't a part of that in the past, but I understand it was something that the whole community got involved in, and so they're going to be putting that back on, and we're looking at any opportunity we can to do things. I want to really showcase the basketball, the gym, and looking at doing a corporate basketball tournament.
Right.
I think it'd be great to see some of our businesses competing against each other, and there's always going to be a little silly twist if I'm involved. So I think that could be a good, fun event that we can put on and showcase the facility.
You know something I'd love? I watched a YouTube video about a group of people in Maryland, in the Baltimore area, that held a tournament that benefited, I forget the charity that was in Baltimore, not important to the story. But you know what the type of tournament was? And they had over 120 teams show up to play in this tournament.
Seems like
adult
I read.
kickball.
Oh, really?
Because don't you remember some of the funnest, most carefree days of your life?
Yeah.
Were when you were in elementary school with those big red balls playing kickball. And I started doing research. There are kickball leagues for adults and all over the country and everything. But this tournament raised like $8,000 for this charity in Maryland through a kickball tournament.
Yeah.
It might be something you look into.
That might even be something instead of basketball and still have it in the gym.
You can still probably have it in the gym.
Yeah.
Probably could.
And, I've, Felicia at Columbia Bank,
Yep.
and we're talking with them. I'm hoping not letting the cat out of the bag, but we're talking about doing an exclusive parade party, because they've got great real estate there for the Christmas parade.
Right,
so
they do.
We're talking about partnering with them for an event on the night of the parade, and it's those corporations or individuals that really want to help and they're not sure how. They can call me and we can certainly
April's
put
got a lot
together.
of ideas, believe me. Believe me, it's not going to be, if April's involved, it's not going to be your average, everyday, run-of-the-mill idea either.
Yeah,
she's going to come up with creative ways, fun creative ways to raise money.
Yeah.
I've been a part of you and Kristen Nast put on a Pinkoween. It was one of the greatest.
I know.
And if you've seen pictures, April is there to attest. I showed up in pink shoes, white pants, pink shirt, and a white hat, or a pink hat. I forget what it was, but I was there having a good time.
Yeah,
so
it was a fun event.
It was a fun event. So I look forward to it. April, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me, Tom.
April Savarese, Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Marion County. And now to this day in history. This day in history is brought to you by the Ocala Golf Club. Call them today for a tee time, 352-401-6917. They're located at 3130 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Jason Linhart and his staff at the Ocala Golf Club do a great, great job giving you the feeling of a country club lifestyle. So if you want country club golf at municipal prices, the Ocala Golf Club is the place for you to play. On this day in history, June 7th, 1929, a little bitty area in the center of Rome became its own country. That's right, June 7th, 1929, Vatican City becomes its own sovereign state. When you're the Pope, you can have your own country. Us Catholics, no, we pay enough money into the church. Why not have our own country? June 7th, 1929, Vatican City becomes a sovereign state. Right smack dab in the middle of Rome, Italy, is another country, Vatican City. Hey, I'd like to thank April Savarese for the Boys and Girls Club for stopping by, for Joe Rothenberger back behind the scenes producing the show, and for his intern Charlie, who's really doing all the work, making me sound and look a lot better than I actually am. This is Tom Schmitz. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.